What is the next small step that we can take towards the digital nations?
You're relying on smart contracts.
Yeah, I guess it's still a lot of TBDs.
And Ethereum communities they're really nation states or digital nations.
When you can say that the digital nation will start kind of being useful? Hi everyone, this is Yuri. Today with Qiao Wang from DAO Alliance, we are talking about DAOs as digital nations. Today we probably will talk about the most ambitious ideas, how DAOs can potentially create alternative to a nation state. We do a lot of episodes and interviews and explainers and trying to make sense of this exciting new world and see the opportunities how crypto can change every industry from entertainment, music, sports, and now governments. Welcome, Qiao.
Hey Yuri, thanks for having me.
Yeah, let's start with your background. So you are a core contributor at Alliance DAO and a top accelerator in Web3, a place that kind of brings to the market a lot of Web3 projects, including Superdao, my company. I'm very grateful for all your support, advice, and funding. Let's start maybe with your path there, what you did before Alliance, maybe describe Alliance to our viewers.
I was the founder who had a product in Masari, which is like the Bloomberg of crypto. I spent a lot of time building out the technical team, leading the product from vision down to execution. Also, all sorts of other things like from BD to recruiting, like all that kind of stuff. But before Masari, I come from a pretty technical background. I worked in quantitative finance, quant trading for many years as a combination of data scientist and engineer. My technical skills are very rusty these days. I haven't coded for many years, but that's what I did for many years. And on the side, being involved with the crypto community since early days. It's been like 10 years now that I've been involved with this community. So that's my quick background.
Well, when you make this jump from Masari to Alliance, and what convinced you that Alliance is where you should be?
Nothing really convinced me initially. Like a lot of good companies, we started as being a side project, as a hobby of mine. I just really enjoyed working with fresh crypto founders. And when Alliance first started, it was like a meetup group between a bunch of people who wanted to help each other, a bunch of founders who wanted to help each other. And over time, it just evolved into something broader, more professional. So like this journey was a gradual process.
Today, you use this kind of cohort-based system. There are a few cohorts per year. I understand there's now 3 or 4 cohorts, about 30, 40, 50 startups per cohort. You have the core team of 10, 20, 30 people. So tell us the latest numbers.
Yeah, so we've accelerated close to 200 founders now. So maybe like 100 startups. Every startup has more than 1 founders. Last time I checked, 15% of the top 100 DeFi projects went through our program. And lately, we started working with a few consumer-facing applications as well, like StepIn. We work with all sectors in crypto Web3, from infrastructure to gaming to DeFi to NFTs, so on and so forth. DAOs, of course. The core team right now it's somewhere between 12 and 14, but our broader network is a network of 300 domain experts and founders in crypto Web3. So really the who's who of crypto.
Perfect. And Alliance is not just an accelerator for Web3 projects. It's also a DAO, or at least an aspiring DAO, a structure that probably has a family of entities. That would be like a traditional entity for the core team. And then there is a DAO that is primarily the network part of it is alum founders, the founders who went through the program, the friends from like big DeFi projects and blockchain, L1s, some of them members of the media, they all helping out. And you're building also kind of contributor reward system. My understanding is there would be some points or tokens or something. Maybe a quick few words on kind of your own DAO building work.
You use a very correct word, is that we are an aspiring DAO. The way it works currently is most of the day-to-day decisions are conducted in a very centralized way by the core team of like 12 people that I just mentioned. All the day-to-day operations, mentorship sessions with our founders, all these things are extremely tight-knit. The way we think about the DAO, the broader network, is that over time, the DAO should have one main purpose, which is asset allocation and assignment of top-level managers. So you can basically think of DAOs or the members of the DAOs as a sort of a decentralized board of directors. That would be a really good analogy to think about it. If you think about the role of board of directors, they make very high-level executive decisions. And that's how we think our DAO will evolve over time into. My thesis is that when you have an organization where the decisions cannot be made in an algorithmic way, organization cannot be run in a fully flat and decentralized way. There has to be delegations of certain tasks to a centralized groups. What do I mean by algorithmic decisions? I mean the likes of Bitcoin Bitcoin, Ethereum, like those things, those decisions, the validation of those blocks is algorithmic, and they can be done in a decentralized way.
Got it. So essentially, the initial set of DAOs were DAOs for protocols, and those protocol DAOs had high degree of automation. So they were able to do a lot of things with software and some things with human governance, while the more kind of real industries DAOs that has higher component of human activity can use algorithms to make a lot of decisions, so much more human decisions. And you mentioned that one purpose of your DAO is effectively electing or approving the work of the executive team. So if there is day-to-day executive team on operating team, then basically the DAO confirms, let's say you're an executive director, they say, okay, Qiao, you can run Alliance for another 2 years, and then we again revote to keep you in the place, or I don't know, replace with someone else. This is like parliamentary republics, like confirmed prime ministers type of thing. But beyond that, I understand that eventually there is also aspiration that the Alliance DAO will have its own token, and there is also a way to track contributions like referrals, scouting, finding new projects. I'm very grateful. I think I scouted some projects for the current cohort. At least Legion Farm, I think, is there. So those, I think, came from me. And then contributors, there is electing leaders. And then anything else like treasury management, do you think it's a part of what you investment decisions, selecting projects into the cohort? Which of those do you think would be run by DAO versus run by the operating team?
I would say most of these are not run by the DAO, especially when it comes to admission of new founders. If you think about picking some of the best founders and startups in the world, you simply cannot have a few hundred people vote on the same decision. It's never going to work for two reasons. One is you can't move fast enough, and two, you cannot make, by definition, contrarian decisions. And therefore, those decisions have to be delegated into a small group of people. Largest use of the treasure could be managed by the DAO itself.
Got it. Wonderful. Yeah, I guess it's still a lot of TBDs. I think another one where Alliance DAO can be a DAO part of it is just the overall community network membership, because people who are alums, people who scout, people who advise, people who do the mentor sessions. So just the sense of belonging, the sense of having a tiny stake in Alliance, I think it's a great motivator for people to be this broad support network of people who help out Alliance companies. And you have this interesting thesis that the best case scenario, the biggest thing that DAOs ever can do for the world is provide kind of alternative nations, or so we have these nation states that we kind of locked into, where we got born. We haven't chose which government to support. We have just one vote. It is very hard to change countries. It's very hard to belong to more than one country. So there are a lot of limitations. And so the nation state system have been around, for a few millennia, and got some baggage, got some bugs in it. So instead of fixing, we keep trying to fix the bugs in the nation states, but at the same time, for the first time ever, we can also build alternative kind of virtual states that run in parallel with governments. So where do you see the glimpses of DAOs and nation states? Do you see any already kind of prototypes? And what inspires you to look deeper into this angle?
This is actually not a new idea, or it's not even a controversial idea, because if you really think about what Bitcoin and Ethereum communities are, they are really nation states or digital nations of particular people who are super passionate about their product and their community, right? The Bitcoin community, the Ethereum community, they're basically digital nations of a particular that build a crypto native product. So it's not a new idea, even though most of these communities or what I would like to call digital nations don't call themselves digital nations. They're in reality really building digital nations. And what's unique about digital nations is that obviously they don't provide the physical needs like food, water, all that stuff. But what's interesting about those is that for the first time, you can start codify laws into smart contracts. So instead of relying on some sort of a social consensus around the laws for enforcement of those rules. So that's one aspect of it. The second aspect of it is a lot of people try to equate DAOs with corporations. So the biggest difference between corporations and DAOs is actually the property rights, whether or not they're native to the organization itself. So with property rights is another important aspect of a modern nation state. These are the two things that really inspire me to think about this a little bit deeper and really have this aspiration that maybe half a century from now, we're going to see a rise of a bunch of DAOs whose power and influence and financial situation can really rival that of some of the biggest superpowers in the world in history.
Where do you see the use cases that might lead that wave? What kind of social groups do you think are best primed for forming digital nations?
I would say it's those that are very risk-seeking, that have a lot of tolerance for risks, that are very passionate about new technologies. Basically, any characteristics you can use to describe some of the earliest Bitcoiners and earliest, creators of Ethereum. I'm not talking about the latest generation. The latest generation, I'm not a fan of those.
Yeah.
If you used to hang out on like Bitcoin Talk, right, the forum, the original forum where Bitcoiners used to hang out, those would be the people that form digital nations.
Yep. Yeah. So like the most dissatisfied with the current status quo, seeking new open spaces, comfortable with things broken all the time, taking risks. A little bit reminds me of people like early like Europeans who come into North America, seeking kind of new opportunities and trying to make a new kind of place for themselves. What do you think would be the early milestones for a digital nation? Let's say you got people together, you gave everyone like NFT passports. What are the first achievements of a digital? Like when you can say that the digital nation start creating some utility or start kind of being useful?
Yeah, I think it's a combination of two things. One is you need a small group of people who have strong shared belief, and that belief, that set of values really inspire more people to join. And two is, obviously building a product that people want. So Bitcoin built the first non-sovereign store value, potentially a digital currency as well. So these are the two necessary conditions. But over time, all these things about creating on-chain rules, like codified laws into smart contracts, digital properties, property rights, like those, how the organization itself govern, these things will take a lot of time, and it's going to be a gradual process. I don't think there are necessary conditions to get a DAO as digital nation to get off the ground, but after a decade or two, these things should happen as well.
Got it. And so when they say product, it might be some more financial product, like currencies. It might be, I don't know, virtual reality, like cities in metaverse. It can be content, or I don't know, is YouTube channel a product? Or so what kind of products do you think can be cornerstones of new digital nations?
Currency products, or a product that serves a set of very strong-minded and smart people. And here I'm talking about Alliance DAO. We're building a product for some of the best founders in this space.
Yeah, so essentially the best DAOs find people with some sort of patience when they invest time and money into project that will fully get to the full vision or the full utility over time. And so you need to have tolerance of early versions to be like incomplete and not fully functional, and like growing over time and evolving as community grows. Yeah, awesome. So it looks like there's a long journey. We at the start. We have a glimpses of digital nations. We can see Ethereum and Bitcoin and Alliance DAO as prototypes, kind of early versions of that, and probably a few more. Things are coming together. But there are basically 90% or more is still ahead of us.
100%.
What do you think can happen like on a shorter horizon, maybe say 1 year from now? So what is the next small step that we can take towards the digital nations?
I think going back to the two necessary conditions, I think we should just build more useful products and get more people into this industry, onboard more people into this industry.
I think in general, like I have this general sentiment across all the interviews we're doing here at DAO Heroes channel, and please, watch all others, is a shift from speculation to utility. So the last 5 years were really about speculation and buy this token cheap and sell it later if it goes up, or NFT. And a lot of infrastructure and tooling and successful projects were around kind of successful speculative asset creation. Basically, the advice for anyone who wants to start or join a digital nation is find a strong set of belief, find the people who seek discomfort and seek new opportunities, even if those are like underbuilt, and then focus on the underlying product that can be a cornerstone of the nation, maybe eventually more products, but find one product that is attracting the right people, and then build economy around the core product. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. Thank you, Qiao. And Alliance.xyz, if you start Web3 project, definitely apply. It's the best funding and mentorship and distribution and mental health support resource for everyone building in Web3. DAO Heroes is a channel where you can get more interviews like this one. Until the next one, thank you, and thanks, Qiao.
Thanks, Yuri.